What is the 4-month sleep regression? The dreaded 4-month sleep regression. So if you are wondering what that is, when is it going to happen, and what can I do about it, then this video is definitely for you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel so that way I can help you teach your baby to sleep, and that way you don't miss anything. So the 4-month sleep regression, what's happening? Actually, the 4-month sleep regression is just a sign that your baby is maturing. They're getting older, they're going through growth spurts, their sleep is maturing, and typically it's changing. So what's happening is the newborn sleep cycle and circadian rhythm is going from newborn to adult. So everybody gets their adult kind of sleep cycle, or the sleep cycle that will stay with them for life at 4 months. Crazy, right? So newborn circadian rhythms, let's talk about that. Usually they are only able to stay awake for as long as they are feeding, and that's totally normal. They sleep around 20 hours a day, and it's not consecutive. Obviously they feed and then they go back to sleep for a few hours, and then they wake when they're hungry in the newborn stage, when they're ready to feed again. And so the newborn circadian rhythm, that's just how it is. They sleep a lot. If your newborn is not sleeping a lot, they could just need less sleep for their personality. They can also be on the shorter end, which is 16 to 20 hours. So they could be on the 16-hour side. It's very important to follow your baby's lead in the beginning. And once they hit the 4-month sleep regression, which can happen anywhere from 12 to 18 weeks, just know. So once they hit that, their sleep changes. They start maybe doing short naps, staying awake longer. They could possibly wake up more frequently during the night, especially if they are already sleeping through the night. Now, does every baby go through the 4-month sleep regression? Yes. All babies go from newborn circadian rhythms to adult circadian rhythms. Some is just more noticeable than others. Sometimes parents don't even notice the 4-month sleep regression pass by because they're not waking up in the night. That doesn't mean they're not going through it. They're getting that adult circadian rhythm, and their sleep is about to change. So now your baby's going through the 4-month sleep regression. What can I do to stop it or help it or change it? So typically what's best is that you follow your baby's lead. Follow those wake windows to help your baby get a good amount of sleep for their age. The 4-month wake window, follow that and make sure your baby's getting enough sleep in between naps and bedtime. If your baby's waking too frequently, maybe it's time to move that wake window a little bit more further, a little bit more awake time. It's best to do things very slowly, so gradually. So let's say your baby's doing an hour and a half of awake time or something like that, but they continue to wake frequently and you can't figure it out. Maybe it's time to drop a nap. So I will talk about nap transitions in another video, but there are so many ways you can help your baby. Typically at 4 months is when they go from 4 to 3 naps, and that could be a sign also if you're following wake windows and your baby continues to wake. It could be a sign that your baby is ready to drop one nap. So to recap that, your baby going through the 4-month sleep regression is most likely ready to transition from 4 to 3 naps. Make sure you're following the wake windows and make gradual changes. So for example, if your baby drops the nap and is only on 3 naps, that means they're going to have a little bit more awake time in between. Let's say that you do 1 hour and 15 minutes before the first nap of the day, and then you do 1 hour and 30 minutes before the second nap of the day, and then maybe 2 hours for the third nap or whatever. Like just like that. That's how you do it. You kind of like play with it and see what is your baby's sweet spot. Now, how do I know it's my baby's sweet spot? It's because your baby takes a nap 1 to 2 hours at this age. If your baby is napping from 1 to 2 hours, then most likely you've got that sleep spot down packed. Sleep props. So at 4 months, remember we were using all these sleep props like swaddles and pacifiers. in the newborn stage, so from 0 to 4 months. These are all sleep props, and around 4 months, it's time to take that swaddle away, and you can transition into a sleep sack if you want. A sleep sack is not tight around the arms. The arms are completely loose. It's not necessary, but if you feel like your baby's cold, you can totally do it. I loved sleep sacks and I used them for a while, but it's definitely time to get rid of the swaddle, definitely by 4 months, especially if your baby is rolling already. You can get rid of the pacifier anytime you want. Just talk it over with your pediatrician. Just remember that if your baby is a baby that their pacifier falls all the time and they need it to go to sleep, that's a sleep prop and they're gonna need that every single time need to go back to sleep. So, or anytime they're transitioning between sleep cycles. Sleep cycles at this age are between 30 and 45 minutes long. So if they're doing a 2-hour nap, they're about getting 2 to 3 sleep cycles around there. In between the first and second sleep cycle, if their pacifier falls out of their mouth, you're gonna have to replace it. I will teach you, if you do want to keep the pacifier, in another video exactly how you can teach your baby to grab their pacifier and replace it themselves. But for the sake of this video, we will move on. So just remember, a sleep prop, whatever that may be, a swaddle, a pacifier, you rocking them to sleep, that is a sleep crutch. They're gonna need that every single time. And the whole entire goal for your baby to learn to fall asleep independently is that to not use any of these sleep crutches, especially you, so you don't have to rock them forever to get them to go to sleep. The goal is to lay them down in the crib and walk away and your baby fall asleep independently. So we will eventually get to that point. Dropping sleep props is a perfect time to teach your baby how to fall asleep independently. You just practice putting your baby down after the awake window is about to finish with a 15-minute to 20-minute buffer. So for example, if you have 2 hours awake time, you are going to set your baby down at the 1 hour and 45-minute mark in their crib, white noise on, to give your baby the chance to fall asleep independently. Now, this is perfect to practice at 4 months. You can definitely practice it in the newborn stage. Just remember, we are always responsive to hunger cues, and you are always gonna just pause and let your baby kind of figure it out for like 30 seconds. If they're in distress and they start crying, you can pick them up, calm them down and put them back down. This is a perfect time to help teach your baby transition away from the swaddle and pacifier if you are using them. Consistency is key. I cannot stress that enough. That is what is going to help your baby learn pretty much anything in life. Consistency is what's going to help your baby learn to fall asleep independently. They will eventually get it, and usually things get worse before they get better, but the trick is that you have to be consistent and know that it's okay. Your baby is safe, loved, fed. They are okay. Your baby's just mad that they're learning a new skill. So pause and listen. Are they in distress, or are they just whining because they're trying to figure it out? You've got this. Don't forget to like this video, comment with your questions down below, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button so that way you don't miss a thing. To recap, at 4-month sleep regression, babies are going from newborn circadian rhythms to adult circadian rhythms. They're going from 2-hour sleep cycles to about 30 to 45-minute sleep cycles. They might be ready to drop from 4 to 3 naps, and they might be ready for more awake time. At 4 months, they are mastering, cooing, smiling, talking with their eyes, all these different things, rolling. These are things that they are mastering. Around 4 months, they master all these things, and this is part of the reason that they're going through the 4-month sleep regression. They're also getting that new circadian rhythm, which is highly tied to sun up, sundown. So we will talk about more in another video. This is a great time to drop sleep props and teach your baby how to fall asleep independently. Thank you so much for watching.